Today we're making low-carb potato salad. Now we're doing that by substituting the potatoes with cauliflower. We're going to cook it up, make it slightly tender, and then we're going to add a lot of healthy ingredients, fairly healthy, at least the best I can do. And it turns out very delicious. I think you're going to love it. I'm Rockin' Robin, and I'm going to show you how to make it right after this. Let's go over those ingredients. First up, we have an organic cauliflower head. I have some pastured eggs, uncured bacon, apple cider vinegar. I have some avocado oil mayonnaise, some Dijon mustard. I have some celery and onions that are both with the superfine dice because that's just really, the way I do it, and I think it works out great. We have some green onions, a radish, fresh parsley, and some salt and pepper. Before we start, I just want to mention that this recipe is super easy to make and it's so customizable. If you see an ingredient here that maybe you're not crazy about or you don't want to add, like maybe you don't want bacon, toss it out. Don't put it in. It's okay. You can add things in that you like, that are your favorites, or leave things out, add them in, do whatever you want. All right, so let's get started. First up, I'm going to be hard boiling my eggs because that takes a few minutes to do. So we'll take our eggs and we'll place them into a saucepan, fill it with cold water, put it on the stove, bring it to a boil, and let it boil for just a second. Turn off the heat, cover it, and let it sit for exactly 17 minutes. And you should get some really perfectly cooked hard-boiled eggs. That's how I do it, and it works every time. Our next order of business is to cook up the bacon. So that'll take a few minutes. And we're gonna also cut up our cauliflower, and we're gonna cook that in a steamer. Now, if you need a tutorial on how to cook bacon, there's a lot of people who watch that video. I have a tutorial for you on how to cook bacon and also how to cut up the old cauliflower head. And so if you need that, I'll leave links down in the description of this video. Just click where it says show more and you will see what's down there. A lot of good stuff. The number one question that I get on my how to cook bacon video is, do I need to add oil to the pan when I first start cooking my bacon? And the answer is no. And the reason is because bacon has plenty of fat in it, and as you cook it, all that fat renders out, and I think you can see it here in the pan. You can see all the, we'll call it oil, from the bacon, so you never have to add any. It makes plenty of its own. Number one question I get though, when the bacon's done, go ahead and take it out and place it on a paper towel covered plate until we're ready to chop it up. When the eggs are done after 17 minutes of cooking, you're going to want to drain the water and then refill the pan with some cold water. I even throw some ice in there to cool it down right away to stop it from cooking. And then after that, of course, we can peel them and chop them up. So now we're into the cauliflower. I cut the florets off of the stalk, and so what you want to do at this point is kind of make your florets about the size of what you would expect potatoes to be, right? We don't want it to be super big chunks like this. This isn't good. So we want to cut it down a little bit. So I'm going to cut these down into smaller pieces, not super small either, but leave them in chunks. So I think something like this. So we'll place our cut up cauliflower into a steamer that I have right here. And we're going to cook this, we're going to steam it. It's hard for me to say exactly how long, but it'll be around, 6 to 10 minutes. We'll say that. And we'll be checking it because we don't want it to be, too soft, and we don't want it to be too firm either. So we want it to be like, Goldilocks. We want it to be just right. So on the stove we go. All right, so I'm going to peel the eggs. These are coming off nicely. And then you want to make sure you rinse them to make sure you get all the shells off of your eggs so they don't end up in your salad. And then we'll just chop up the eggs and have a look at that. Perfectly cooked, right? So you just want to cut this in a nice, kind of a rough chop. And then I have a nice big bowl right here, and I'm just going to start placing things in my bowl that are ready to go. So I'm going to go ahead and just finish up with chopping up my green onion I'm just gonna cut that up really fine. And the radish. Now the radish I like to do super fine because it's got a little bite to it, and I like to just, you know, have it be a little more subtle in my salad, so that's why I do the super fine dice with that as well. And in the meantime, I'm keeping track of my cauliflower over there so that it doesn't get mushy. And I tell you, cauliflower, you know, never used to be one of my favorite vegetables at all until I started working with it. And I've got a whole boatload of recipes for you to try. You know, you can use cauliflower to make Spanish rice, cilantro lime rice. You can make soup with it. I've got a great roasted, you know, cauliflower soup recipe for you to try. You can use it to make mashed potatoes and pizza crust. So I'll leave a link for those down below in the description, and you can check those out. Now I like to incorporate fresh herbs into my salad, so here's some fresh parsley, finely chopped. Once your cauliflower is done, just as Goldilocks would like it, just right, you go ahead and rinse it under cold water. We want to bring the temperature down because we're going to be mixing this with mayonnaise. All right, so we got the cauliflower well drained, so we're going to toss it into our bowl with everything else. And feel free to double this recipe because you're gonna love it. And then I'm gonna add in the already cut up celery, my superfine dice, some yellow onion. And I'm gonna go ahead and toss that just a bit, just to kind of get things moving around. So now we're gonna add the mayo. Now this mayo is definitely healthier than your regular stuff because it's made with avocado oil. It is so much better for you. All right, and we're just gonna add some in and start mixing. I'm gonna add some mustard to this. Okay, we'll get about a tablespoon in there. Start giving that a stir. And you just kind of want to play with it. I mean, you're probably gonna put about a cup of mayo in here. Okay, so we're gonna add a little bit of apple cider vinegar. And I think it needs a little more mayo. You want to hear that sound, you know, when you're mixing it up, that has that mayo sound. You know what I'm talking about? All right, we'll add some salt. And some pepper. And if you have some favorite spices, feel free to use them. And of course, I'm going to be tasting this right now. Man, that's good. You guys are gonna love this. Here's the bacon. I'm gonna toss that on top. Bacon's a little bit salty, as you know, and I think I have enough salt so far. So here's our mock potato salad, and you know what? You're not gonna miss the potatoes. It is that good. This bowl is gonna disappear very, very quickly in my house. So here's my official test. The superfine dice does my salad justice. I mean, it just makes it so good. Everything is subtle. I can taste the green onions. I can taste the celery. Nothing overpowers anything. The cauliflower is, you know, perfectly cooked. It has a nice little, you know, texture to it. For sure, you gotta try it. It's so much healthier for you. This is actually a pretty decently healthy recipe for you to try. Now, if you know someone who is on a low carb diet or not, doesn't really matter, but for sure, if there's somebody you know that's on that, share this recipe with them, please. They're gonna love it. Thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to subscribe to my channel, click that button right up here at the end of the video or down below, as well as that bell next to it, which will notify you when new videos of mine come out every week. Guys, let me know what you're gonna put in your salad, or are you gonna make it just like I did? And it's fabulous. Thanks again for watching. We'll see you next time.